Good evening, everybody. And today, as usual, we've got another exciting, enticing evening planned for you. And I'll introduce our speaker shortly. Just to give you a background, CoLaBoRate is an app that we launched, to connect people from uh, two freelance assignments and back and forth. That means people looking for freelance assignments get jobs. And when we started this, we found that a lot of people do not look at freelance work as a very, glamorous side, or they feel it is below their dignity at times, which is a very strange thing that we found out. And the idea of starting the CoLaBoRate app was to get people back into their swing of things, jobs, etc. And I personally, so I'm Dominic. I started off as a gigger myself, and for many years I was into doing gigs, that is part-time work, for about 12 years, that is while running another enterprise which was doing well, but obviously not good enough to support my growth or my interests. And keeping that in mind, when the pandemic hit, me and my team were brainstorming as to how we could help the industry, how we could help organizations grow, how we could help people grow. And this is how the app came up. Now, these shows that we do are not at all to promote the app itself, but just promote the concept of getting freelance work or getting out there. And with that in mind, we started approaching people who may have started off as giggers or who are hiring giggers, that is, people who work part-time or freelance. And to tell us their story, their journey about how they started off, how they looked at doing freelance work, how they made their mark as giggers, and today have grown into the institutions that they are. With me on the show today, and we're trying out a different format today. So what we've done is we've invited a few ladies and gents to join us on the panel. They would be spectators, but this would also open up the realm of a conversation with the speaker. So I'll introduce. There's Andrea, who happens to be my wife. There's Jervis Fernandez. Jervis, why don't you put on your camera so we can all see you? There's Kaushal Datta, who is our CEO. Jervis, in fact, has been backdoor with the CoLaBoRate Talk Show, sending out emails, coordinating the whole thing, and getting this whole show on the road. So doing a great job of it. We got Kaushal Datta, who happens to be the CEO at HTI. There's Aditi Kane, who is with an NGO and into CSR activity. Let me see who else is logged in. And there's Nicola Pace, and I think she's having a problem getting her camera on. So Nicola is also a journalist. So we are surrounded by journalists, and on one side we've got our expert for today. So let me introduce Dr. Mehta, who actually needs no introduction, and is a global leading holistic health guru and corporate life coach for over 39 years. He's to Bollywood superstars, top politicians, India Inc., and several Miss Worlds and Miss Universe. He has also trained the police, army, navy, and air force personnel. Only one in India to have an honorary double doctorate in holistic health and life sciences for integrated medicines. Recipient of the Health and Wellness Icon of India award by Economic Times, and is among the 100 most impactful wellness leaders of the world, as announced at the Global Wellness Conclave 2018. Author of bestsellers The Shunyam Quotient and Lose Weight, Gain Shape. Been invited to speak at the Harvard University, IIT, IIMs, and TEDx forums globally. Been the first personal trainer of India, fitness columnist, and fitness TV and radio presenter in India. Dr. Mehta has pledged to support the government's Fit India movement, conducted more than 50 webinars during the pandemic for Manipal Cigna Health Insurance, Lupin Limited, Procter & Gamble Health Limited, Aditya Birla Sun Life, Aditya Birla Health, Bombay Stock Exchange, and Indian Drug Manufacturing Associations. That's just to name a few. Dr. Mehta launched wellness and fitness shows on Hotstar, Tata Sky, Videocon, DTH, and has also put together a reach of 150 million. The author, poet, philosopher, the brand, the institution, the legendary Dr. Mehta, who gets you energized, naturalized, optimized, maximized, wellness revolutionized, and gets you Mickeymized. So before I actually start talking to him, I also want to tell you all that we are going to be giving out 5 gifts today, which is a copy of his books, The Shunyam Quotient and Lose Weight, Gain Shape. So do participate, do stay tuned with us, do ask questions, and welcome, Dr. Mehta.
Yeah, welcome. And welcome, Nicola. How are you?
I am good. And what my first question actually, I don't know if you are ready for it, but I see you are handling the Miss Universe and the Miss World, and on the other side you are handling the armed personnel. The Army, Navy, Air Force personnel. How do you manage to make this swing from something very delicate and let's say stage oriented to something so crisp and disciplined as let's say the Air Force personnel?
So, I mean, normally life coaches do everything personalized and customized. So,
Okay.
life coaching means that you understand the constitution of the person well, you understand the lifestyle of the person well, you understand the character and the personality of the person well, you understand the environment of the person, and then you seek the objectives of the person. What are the objectives for success? What are the objectives of excellence, of fitness, health, wellness, well being? And then you customize and personalize the whole program. So, typically, when it comes to ladies, let's say, so when it comes to beauty pageants, so what does a beauty pageant participant want? She wants to win. Everybody wants to win, it's a given. Now, to make her a winner, she should stand out. Now, to stand out and be outstanding amongst the group, so every person has to be, first of all, taught how to postulate, how to present. Okay, now here I'm not talking about makeup at all. I'm also not talking about speaking skills yet, but postulate body language, how to communicate with the eyes, how to express. Now, very important, a strong body represents and shows, exudes confidence. So whether it's a strong body of a male or a strong body of a female, I mean your whole demeanor, your whole behavior shows extreme self-conviction and self-confidence. Also, very important that my training is all-encompassing. So there is strength, stamina, endurance, agility. Now, when it comes to agility, an agile body is an agile mind. An agile body gives an agile mind. So when the body is flexible, the mind becomes flexible. And a flexible mind is an optimistic mind. Because a flexible mind wants to do everything. And a flexible mind always says yes to life. A flexible mind is life affirmative, wants to participate, to collaborate, wants to say yes, wants to co create. And a flexible mind will always ask, why not? Will never ask why. So that gives a streak of a winner. That's number one. Then nutrition. But before food nutrition, natural nutrition, I get people to mingle, absorb with cosmic nutrition. So I
With,
always tell
I'm
people
sorry, I didn't get with
cosmic,
what
cosmic
cosmic
nutrition.
nutrition. Okay.
So I always tell people have breath for breakfast. Soak yourself in the sun. Bow to the earth and connect, resonate with it.
So that would be the
Dissolve into the
spiritual side of
ether.
things.
Dissolve into the ether. Okay, look at the wide expanse of Akasha, the sky. Feel the infinity, feel the expanse within. Correlate and correspond with the elements. So this is cosmic nutrition. Sleep also comes in cosmic nutrition. A good massage also comes there. A good workout also nourishes you. A state of joy nourishes you. A hug nourishes you. Meditation, prayer nourishes you. And then food nourishes you. So then in food nutrition, I tell people about natural nutrition. So natural nutrition, I always tell people that, okay, listen, guys. So vegetables cleanse you, fruits heal you, nuts and seeds fortify you, herbs, condiments, and spices regulate you. Now, these are rules of the thumb and thumb rules for food eating. And then I tell people, morning to afternoon, try and be on fruits, get your pH balance into alkaline state. Okay, then you can have your lunch, then you can have an early dinner, but do have a dinner by sunset, because we have a circadian rhythm, which is our biological clock and biological rhythm, and that synchronizes with the geomagnetic rhythm. So our unit rhythm Now, the word rhythm comes from the word hriday, heart. And heart
Okay.
has a rhythm. Okay, so hriday produces or is a progenitor of rhythm. And this rhythm is actually the cosmic rhythm. So a person who's synchronized with life, a person who's synchronized with the geomagnetic forces, will throb with the universe, will throb with the cosmos. So you rise with the sunrise, and your energy is ebb with the sunset. So obviously after sunset, your hunger dies gradually, and so does your digestive ability. So, and then of course hydration is there, and of
So
course
we have gone
seasonal.
too deep. We have gone too deep into nutrition. I think you're so passionate about it. I was trying to get to the personal side of how do you manage,
Okay,
but
okay,
you've
now
answered
coming
that.
there, coming there. So what happens? Why nutrition? Because it's what you eat, you become. Everything that you put inside you, you become that. It translates into also your thought, your action, your behavior, your attitude. Can you imagine your food impacting and influencing your character and personality? And then, of course, I get into regulated breath, I get into meditation, I get into chanting, I get into emotional catharsis. I make people scream, dance, cry, joke, bounce, prance. So that catharsis also churns the personality and a person becomes uninhibited. So my whole idea is to get inhibitions dropped, give them freedom of thought and expression, make them postulate, express with the eyes and the face. And then, of course, I get into parts of communication skills and how self-confidence and self-conviction should translate into faith, and that should translate into optimism, and that makes you very magnetic. So these are all streaks for winners. Now, when it comes to soldiers, so steadiness of the mind, because I've trained the Olympian shooters at
Okay.
Mao Indore. So stability of the mind, calming down your mind, anchoring deep within yourself, introducing yourself to yourself, and getting so engaged and dissolved into the mind, but not getting engaged to the fragments of the thought. It's very different. You could be having a million thoughts floating around like the sky, the clouds float around. But you don't engage with individual clouds. You are there in absolute presence. You are an embodiment, absolute, integrated with whatever is happening around. So an empty mind is being minded by your consciousness. So we say empty the mind and mind the emptiness. So minding the emptiness
It's
and
about
filling
being
it with the
mindful
light
then.
of joy. Yeah, filling it with the light of joy and the light of consciousness. I think the whole mindfulness business has gone beyond, reasonable understanding. It's not full mind. The mind should be empty of the junk and filled only with the light of awareness of here now and light of consciousness. So this is what we do more with the soldiers. And with soldiers, of course, we do training for resilience, tenacity. So, I mean, we raise the bar. So there,
Okay.
the physical training, the mental training, and sitting quiet for an hour or two, it's not very easy. It requires a lot of strength. It requires a lot of
Yeah.
patience and
We've all
tolerance.
learned it during the
So,
lockdown, but
yeah, absolutely. But with wives
so I
along, I don't know whether it really works.
so
Yeah,
I have a
what's the
question now
Andrea?
going I've got a question, Doctor, going back to your start. How did you start off in this fitness business? What was your early years like?
My first experience with fitness was crawling out of my mother's womb, because that is also a struggle. You need to be fit and strong to effort and come out, right? So it is said that naturally born babies, mothers are not the only ones who are making the effort. The child is making an effort as well.
Oh,
And
interesting.
such children are very resilient and tenacious. Their immunity is very high because they are lapping up the amniotic fluid while they are moving out and to see the light of the day. So I mean that was in a lighter vein. But yes, I started exactly 50 years back in terms of workouts. I used to see
Okay.
my cousins work out and they had great bodies at home. And I came home and I wanted to work out. And I told my mom, I want
So
some
how old were
video.
you? How old were you?
I was 8. I was just finishing 8 and I was entering 9. It was the day before my birthday, I guess. I told my
Okay.
mom, yeah, that I need some equipment to buy. So my mom and dad's salary put together was around 500 bucks. Lower middle class family living at Grant Road. Okay.
Impressive. Mm.
Uh, yeah. And that area was called Falkland Road. And in
Oh,
colloquial terms, it's called Pilau. So, not the heart of red light area, but just a little bit outskirts of it. So there was a small cluster of Parsi community there. So mom said, why don't you join YMCA? And you go and exercise there. So I went to YMCA, and those people said that, it's too early to do weights for you. And, you're just 8, you're not allowed. So why
you
don't
were
you go?
8. I thought you were in the 8th standard.
No, no, I was 8.
My God.
And then I went back home and I told mom that, okay, we need to buy equipment. So she said, we can ill afford that because the cost was coming to
Very true.
3,000 bucks. So she said that,
See,
why don't you, your sister does yoga. She was in JV Petit. And my sister used to do a lot of yoga at home. She said, why don't you learn from her? So then from next day, I started exercising alone, locking up the door, working out, doing yoga, practicing martial arts. And I used to sweat profusely. I used to carry a lota. We used to have um, German silver lota in which I
okay.
used to put Calvert's rose syrup. I remember those days Calvert's. So Calvert's, or I used to put Dippy's orange squash and put ice inside and keep sipping it. And by the time I would finish my workout, there would be a pool of sweat. So my parents
Okay.
and my sister would always say that I take the lota inside, throw water on the floor, only to show how much I've sweat. So I think it's that sweat and this day today. I think that's sweating it out for years together. So I think in the last 50 years of working out, I don't think more than 50 days I would have missed.
My
Oh
God.
my God.
So I have one more question for you here. Is this was your early days of actually working out? What about getting into professional working out? That means teaching others professionally. Getting into that. How did you get into that?
So 1981, 1982, when I finished my matriculation, I joined my cousin. So he was a black belt karate instructor. He had his classes going on.
Okay.
So I started, training with him. So normally somebody would get a black belt in 5 years and would attend a karate class 3 times a week. I used to
Okay.
do a class 3 times a day for 6 days a week because I used to travel with him to all classes.
Okay.
I shortened my length for getting my black belt. So I probably got it in a year and a half or two. And then
Okay.
it was, but before karate, I started giving massages door to door to my friends and
Massages.
massages, yeah. To
You
my
used to go
friends and
door.
family.
Used to go door to door massaging people.
Correct. So not women. Hello, Dominic.
No, no, no. Whether it's men or
Okay,
women,
so
we'll come to
this.
that. What I want to know is what were you charging at that time?
So I would probably charge a 40, 50 bucks for a massage. 60,
Oh, that
60,
was
I
a
remember, 60.
that's a good amount.
Yeah, very good amount. And I used to get completely soaked in sweat right to the crotch. You know, and then local trains, and you get into, and you get a sandwich massage there in the local train, and all the bhaiyas traveling, your mouth is in somebody's armpit, somebody's sticking on here, there. I've gone through everything in life. So
This is amazing, yeah.
so then I started teaching karate after massages. I started teaching karate. And once I got my black belt, I started taking karate classes in the Vikhroli Godrej Industrial Estate. And that was in school. In some of the schools, I used to travel to Danu every alternate day. And then, I got a job. I got a job then thereafter in Hotel Ramada Palm Grove as a health club manager because
How
the
old were you? How
owner
old?
of Ramada Palm Grove used to be my partner in karate class.
How old were you
So
at that time?
it was 1982, so I'm 59 today. So 59 and so 62 to 82, almost 19, 20 years. Sorry,
1920.
69. Yeah, 69 to 79, 10 years. No, sorry, 16. One second. My math is very bad, Dominic. So you
I can make
calculate.
out, but Yeah,
It was
so you would be
82.
about 18 years old. About 18 years old.
Yeah, so correct. 62 to 82. I was born in 62. So 82, so 19, 20 years old.
Okay. And what was your first
Wow.
salary?
My first salary at Farm Group was 1200 pounds.
How much?
1200.
1200 rupees. Okay. While you were at
1200.
Farm Grove, did you continue teaching karate outside, and did
Yes,
you also continue doing your massages outside?
yes, very much.
Okay. One question
And
here.
after that, I got a job in Muscat Holiday Inn in Oman because my
Okay.
school friend's father built that hotel. And he used to come for vacations to Bombay twice a year. So he saw me and said, okay, come to my hotel. Baba, hotel pe aaja. So then I went to Oman. After I
You
came from Oman, then I joined Oberoi Hotels as a corporate manager, health club manager for 5 years. And then in 1993, I started on my own, and that was the time when I launched Learn Swimming in 24 Hours, and that was my first claim to fame.
Okay, I want to come back to launch swimming in 24 hours, but before that, I want to know when you were going door to door massaging, what was your own feelings? That I mean, did you feel small? Did your parents feel embarrassed? Because
Not at all.
so what was your thinking at that time? Like did I'm sure somebody or the other must have said, "Ye kya kaam kar raha hai?"
So I'll tell
Either your
you.
parents or to you.
So when I came back in 81 from school, and I was not academically inclined at all, my parents sent me to a motor mechanic school, a radio bhavan in Mahin. They sent me for an interview to Oberoi for becoming a steward, and not many things happening. But I didn't get those jobs. I barely went to the auto mechanic school, and I still practiced karate, and I still kept doing massages, and still kept going to the gym. So, but yes, of course, certainly there were people who said, "What are you doing here?" And there were certain people who said, "It's 90, you're 19, and you started earning. That's a good thing." So
No,
people always divided in views. That.
see, today massage is at least looked as respectable. Pardon
Hmm.
me, but
Yeah,
earlier it would not be exactly the profession it is today. Like today, if you say you'll give a massage, there's a different view to it. But in those days,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure there was a stigma attached. What was your mindset? What were you thinking at that time, and how? Because this is what I would like you to give a message to the youth, especially who feel there
Yeah.
are jobs below their dignity.
So
So, what was your?
I believe that hard work, sweat of the eyebrow, burning your bone marrow, all that is more brings you more sense of pride than actually the work you do. Work is secondary. So in whatever you do, if your attitude is you lending dignity to that work rather work lending dignity to you. You understand? So it was that kind of that sense of pride I had of being independent, of doing something. And I was giving massages, I was researching. Those days there was no internet. I was
Very true.
trying to get books, looking at the physical anatomy, looking at biochemistry, looking at pressure points, and looking at the French technique and the Swedish technique. And having worked in hotels later on enriched my experience furthermore.
Very true. Would have.
Furthermore. And since I was very much physically inclined and more physically aware because of my fitness and exercise, it came to me naturally to manipulate human body. Of course, then as a life coach, I can manipulate a human mind as well.
Uh, that there's two things I have to come back to, and I'm sorry I'm not letting anyone else ask you questions.
Yeah.
So Mickey, when you were earning pretty early in life. At that time, the mind, I'm guessing, would let you play tricks with yourself. That means you're earning, say you've done 10 massages in the month, you've got $500, which is what your parents were probably earning, like you said. So did that go to your head at any point? Did you
No,
tell
I didn't
your
start
parents?
giving massages at 8. So my parents were earning $500 when I was 8. But I think
Okay,
by the time I was 20, I think that their income put together would have been 8, 10 grands. In those
okay.
days, probably. I'm just saying probably, or maybe a little more, maybe more than that. I never asked the salary. Yes, but I was self-funded, and of course, before I started giving massages, I used to flick money from my mom's and dad's wallets and also from my sister's wallet. Also from my
Okay, so
sister's wallet because she used to get big pocket money. And I used to watch movies and I used to go and eat and, make merry. But yes, when I started earning, I felt the power of money. And there were months with karate and massage, I used to make 10 grand, 12 grand, 15 grand a month. And
So
here
did your
I'm
money ever go to your head and did you misuse it, or
many
how did you
times.
handle your money?
So
Sorry?
many times, the learning curve has gone up and down at least 10, 15 times in my life. So eventually in the last curve that I made and earned extreme amounts of money and lost double of that also. So, I would probably be a benchmark for any fitness trainer to become more like Mickey Mehta. Because phenomenal amount of money that I've earned out of my name, out of my work, out of my credibility, track record, out of my prowess, out of my ability, out of my knowledge and wisdom and craft, and lost as much and more because I'm simply not a good businessman. I can't run units. So, I mean, my profit and loss doesn't occur to me well.
Understood.
I'm
Okay,
not dyslexic by any chance.
now coming to your 24 hours learn swimming in 24 hours. Where did
Uh,
this idea come from and how did you go about it? What stimulated you or got you up to that challenge?
So, let me tell you, there is a history to my swimming learning. So, I had great attraction towards water bodies. So, even
You
before
had
going
great
from
attraction to
towards water bodies,
water
water,
bodies.
water bodies.
Yes,
So,
yes.
even before I went to the boarding school in standard sixth, in Bombay, I used to go to Mahatma Gandhi swimming pool and Elphiston pool, and they both were considered piss pools those days. You imagine everybody would probably piss in there, and
Mia
I
culpa.
it,
Mia culpa.
yeah, okay. So it was 30 paisa, 30 paisa for a slip to go inside, ticket to go inside on Sundays.
Okay.
So either my maternal uncle or my neighbor friend, they would take me on Sundays. And coming close to the pool and looking at the large expanse of big swimming pool, I would run, even though I didn't know how to swim. And I would splash around. Then cut to me going to Nasik in school, Bhosle Military School. So in the first week itself, we were taken to the swimming pool. And the swimming instructor said, okay, the first lot, those who know how to swim will jump and swim. So I raised my hands up because I knew that for people who didn't know, wouldn't get a chance for weeks together. So I raised my hands up, and that was a very deep pool because I always used to practice in shallow in Mumbai. I took the plunge and I started, you know, drinking water and, you know, gasping for
Drowning.
breath and struggling to stay afloat. So the trainer dived and he got me out. And he's saying, you don't know how to swim. I said, no. He's saying, you idiot, why did you get it? I said, because I wanted to swim. So he took special attention. He gave me special attention. And within 4 months, I won the Nasik district championship
What are you
in swimming.
saying?
Yeah, in swimming. And those
Wow.
days, mind you, we had stiff competition from Barnes School. We had stiff competition from HAL Ozar, Hindustan Aeronautical Limited School. Those schools
Uh,
was considered very high, big schools, and I was competing against them. But nevertheless, that's how it started. And so when I was in Oman, I was a health club manager there. Thursday, Fridays used to be weekly offs back then. Today they have Friday, Saturday weekly off. I mean, in today's days. So back then they had Thursday, Friday weekly off. So I knew very many Parsis there. There was Shapuji Palanji company there. So
okay.
they used to come. I got them. I made them members. I got business for my hotel. I connected with so many people. I networked, and they used to come to swim, and I used to teach their children over Thursdays and Fridays. And there were times many children could learn swimming in just one weekend. So like 4 5 hours today and 4 5 hours tomorrow,
So that means like 8 hours.
something like that. Now I mean, I am a better teacher than a better exponent. May it be martial arts, may it be swimming, may it be fitness. I may not be best at fitness, but certainly I can teach the best because I read a lot, I understand a lot, and I can express and explain much better. I can communicate. My communication skills, touch wood, are very, very good. So I could teach people how to float, get their fears, phobias out, how to get the breathing regulated, and how to get their movements synchronized. So when I came back to Bombay, and I said, now I joined Oberoi's after that.
Okay.
So I joined Oberoi's, and after my 5 year stint at Oberoi's, I started on my own at Sea Princess. Now that was the time everybody was teaching swimming here and there. So I said, how do I make a big noise? How do
How
I
do I?
stand out? Big
Okay.
noise. How do I stand out? Okay. Then I realized that um, everybody eats chicken eggs. Nobody eats egg from ducks, although they are more nutritious. Then I realized why. Because chicken, the hen would always every morning scream about laying an egg. I said, let's start screaming. I said, let's start screaming, you'll be better known. So I remember, I don't know whether you remember, I used to give full page ads in midday afternoon that
Yes.
learn swimming in 24 hours.
Very true.
So, come today 5, 6 hours, come tomorrow 5, 6 hours.
So that
Or
that
in a
24
day,
hours was a sort of a pun. I mean, you were saying 24 hours, and we would read it as within a day. But
but
that was,
Dominic,
yeah.
for many people who stood the day 8, 9 hours, they learned. And the normal thing was going to a pool for 30 days every day to learn. That was a normal thing worldwide. So this was a kind of a revolution. It's a global revolution. So I got mentioned in some world books, etc. The Limca Book of World Records and some other, and a lot of publications picked it up internationally as well. But it was a huge media blitzkrieg in India. It was a big thing. Television picked it
Hmm.
up. I remember those days, these journalists. I think, Cyrus Engineer, not Cyrus Merchant. Cyrus Merchant was writing for Bombay Times. So he had, he wrote a cynical remark. Many journalists wrote a cynical remark, but after I accomplished it, they all wrote a positive story. And that made me very big. And then the second thing what happened to me was Femina Miss India after that.
Okay. So when Femina Miss India happened, how old would you be? Just
Femina Miss
roughly.
India happened to be exactly towards 94, because I remember Manpreet Brar had just won the first international title after long, long years for India. She was the first runners up. And I had a friend who was a marketing genius and a big marketing guy called Jagdeep Kapoor, who was the marketing genius behind Dailies and Fruities and sorry, Appy.
Okay.
And so I consulted him. He said, Mickey, you made such a big noise about nurturing 24 hours, become very famous. Why don't you write to Femina Miss India and tell them that you're interested in training Miss India? So I sent them a fax and I got a reply. And Mr. Pradeep Gua was the then guy, and he invited me to come over one evening. I went there, and Manpreet Brar was sitting. He introduced me to her and said, start training her from tomorrow. She'll be going for an international pageant. And
Wow.
then the whole history. Then I think next 15, 17 years, most of the years I trained all the girls. And then of course the winners, Yukta Mukhi, Lara Dutta, Priyanka Chopra, and string of, so many names I've even forgotten. Then I did Femina Look of the Year, then I did Elite Model, and then I did Ford Supermodel. Then I did very many reality shows. Channel V, Get Gorgeous, Channel V, uh, Pop Stars, then Zoom Style Diva, Zoom Gang of Girls, Sunsilk Gang of, I've forgotten. Okay, then I did Indian Idol Junior, then I did Fame Gurukul. I mean, So very
So
many
I
reality
have
shows.
one last question before I hand it over to others to ask you questions,
Yeah.
and
Thanks for being so
the audience.
generous.
So yeah, actually, I'm lapping it up. See, what I
Yeah.
get from you is, see, you've seen fame, you've seen success, and also I'm going to get here. You've seen women, wine, and song, but you still manage to stay, and for the fitness industry to stay focused in this way. Like, it's very easy
Yeah.
for you to have gone off track, if I may say so, but you still
Yeah.
stayed on track. What kept you on track?
But who said I didn't go off track?
Okay, so you managed to come
Hey,
back on
Andrea
track.
is
So let's
laughing.
talk about you. Go,
Nicola is
yeah, let's
laughing.
go to the part where you went off
No,
track,
no.
and then you can, if you're willing to open up on that, and when you came back on track, then.
No, so it's like, see, it's like you're driving on a highway which does not have a physical divider. It just has a virtual line. So many times you go off and you come back and you go off, the steering wheel is in your hands. You know how to balance yourself. And as you grow and as you get matured and you see frivolities of life and meaninglessness of certain things, and then you all want to do meaningful things only. So of course, this is a part of everyone's growing, right from school to college to work, and and further growing up. So it happened to me as well. But I can very proudly say that during my days with Feminist India and so many years with them, I was very clear about my work and focus. So no going off track there. I don't
Okay.
remember becoming over friendly with any girl. So there were many friendships I made maybe 10 years after they had become in Miss India's, or 10 years, 15 years after they had participated. When we bumped into each other in different walks of life, we probably became friends, had coffee, and kept in touch. But while doing those pageants, while doing those reality shows, including shows like Asma, you remember Asma band? It was
No,
it
I'm
was
not too
a
much
Yeah.
into
Channel V
TV.
band. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, you distracted
So
me with one thing. You said that you kept in touch with these women.
you naughty man. Now, touch doesn't mean this physical touch. You understand?
You're just pulling your leg. Okay, so
Yeah,
we've got
yeah.
a question that's coming through Facebook, and Jervis has posted me that people are asking if the contest is open. I mean, the prizes will be given to people watching it on Facebook. Yes, the prizes will be given to people watching it on
Certainly,
Facebook,
certainly,
provided
certainly.
you send in a nice question. And I'm
Yeah.
opening it up now to questions. And so over to you all. Aditi, would you like to go first?
I think Nicola, Aditi, and Kostabir and Kaushal, ma'am, they should talk to me now
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah. So now over to you
I
all.
think let
So,
Andrea do the honors. No, Andrea, you
sure,
start,
sure.
please.
I actually have no questions. I've known Mickey for so many years. I have worked with him, and Mickey, you've always been, so disciplined actually. Because whenever I've asked you for an article, whenever we've done an interview, you've always given me time and everything. But first time, Mickey, you've opened up and you've told. I mean, I've come to know from where you started out, and I'm humbled, Mickey, because I know today where I know where you've reached. I know the kind of fancy cars you drive, and the amazing lunches you have hosted Vinodini and me at 5 stars and all. And I'm so humble that that you are so humble. I'm so humbled by your humility actually.
So that's all divine grace. It's being human. It's simply being human. It's being yourself, your true self. And we actually vibrate with this world. And so we connect with this world. We throb with this world. And I'm a people's person. I like to reach out and I like to be available for support, help, assistance, ever to anybody. I don't choose who to help, who not to. I don't choose who to make friends with. Friendship happens with good people. It's very natural. So yes, Andrea has been a part of my journey, and almost a decade plus or more, could be maybe decade and a half, that on off that
Yes.
we've done work together. And I don't think we must have met more than 10 times in life in 15 years, or
No.
maybe 12 times in life. But nevertheless, we've been there for each other on phone, and our friendship has been great. And thank you
She
so much.
also does. She also does your style of the Surya Namaskar, by the way.
Now, what's that, Dominic?
It's lots of compliments for a new figure for that. Really, it's very showing.
No,
And
no, there's a limit. Addie saying it's a new figure. Mickey,
no, but really,
I
I
have
think it's
lost
very
some
showing.
So
7-8
there's a
kilos,
joke.
and I keep
Yeah,
following your Surya Namaskar. Your video. So I
yeah,
tell
yeah, I know on
everyone that
YouTube.
I'm doing. I'm following Mickey Surya Namaskar. So it's become
So Dominic said it in a
you're
way.
trending in my life.
Oh, so Dominic said it in a way. It reminded me of a joke that early morning on Jew Beach at 6 o'clock, somebody is doing the Desi Surya Namaskars, and a drunkard comes across and says, "Excuse me, your wife is not there anymore." Okay. So I think Nicola and Aditi and the other ladies caution.
So can I go?
Aditi,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead, or Nicole, go ahead.
I'm audible, Nicola here.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear
So
you.
Nikki, see, speaking for myself personally, yes, I want to vibrate with the universe, and I do to a large extent. But sometimes it gets very difficult. Personal and professional setbacks, where you feel let down, where you feel cheated, where you feel people don't even feel remorse for what they have done to you. How do you cope with that and still keep your equilibrium, still enjoy life because it's still beautiful? But how do you not
Yeah.
miss out on that picture?
You know, Nicola, your question now resonates with me so well because my this morning's Get Mickeymized message says that people will be nasty with you, but you try and be nice, and you will rise in the divine eyes. You know, this is my this morning's Get Mickeymized message.
Yes.
So I'll give you a very small story. Give you a small story that two monks were crossing a river, and one monk sees a scorpion struggling to remain afloat. So he bends down and lifts the scorpion up and takes the scorpion across the river. And just about when he's about to let the scorpion go, the scorpion bites the guy. So the other monk smirks and says, "You idiot, you didn't realize that when you lifted the scorpion up." So the monk remains quiet. The next day, when they return, you know, coincidentally, whether it was the same Scorpio or the other, there was one Scorpio, same monk sees struggling. Both of them see the Scorpio struggling. And the monk, once again, very spontaneously, see, there is no thought process of analysis involved. Spontaneously, he got the Scorpion up and crossed the river, and just about he was let go the scorpion stinged him again, stung him again. So this time, that guy had a field day. He said, "Look, you idiot, you didn't learn your lesson the first time, so serves you right." So he said that, look, if a scorpion being a scorpion, or a Scorpio, sorry, if a Scorpio being a Scorpio didn't forget its own innate personality and characteristics he's born with, how being a human I can forget.
So we
So
have to be what we are.
I am always filled with empathy. It is me to just reach out and help. It is me to be open to people. It is me to give and forgive. So this is a basic human characteristic. So being human, compassion comes to human. Empathy comes to human. Animals will not have compassion and empathy. Animals will have a connect with you. They will resonate with you. But only humans who have risen high in evolution and risen high in their consciousness and refined their personalities and characters, and they would keep getting better. So it is being human to be nice, it is being human to let go, it is being human to forgive. It's very simple. That Nicola, even while we walk over ants, we walk over certain creatures, we kill cockroaches. So inadvertently, we may be doing wrong to so many also. Now, yes, personal communication is very important. Yes, processing your pain is very important. See, you cannot do anything outside of you, but but you can do lots inside of you. So in yoga, there are lovely breathing techniques. You do them, a few breathing techniques, morning and evening, even without intending to weed out your negative emotions, automatically your physical knots, your psychological knots, and your emotional knots are dissolved. But if you do it with a psychological application, that you start weeding out your resentments as you breathe out. So when I teach people breathing, I say, breathe in energy, breathe out exhaustion. Breathe in energy, breathe out fatigue. Breathe in strength, breathe out your weaknesses and feebleness and debility. Breathe in courage and breathe out your fears, phobias. Breathe in hope and breathe out despair. Breathe in faith and breathe out anxiety. Breathe in love and breathe out hatred, resentments, grudges. So it comes very naturally to me because I'm living this. So if you gradually, Nicola, just work on yourself, you will rise within yourself, and it has got nothing to do with the world. On the contrary, every tormentor is your mentor because a challenge makes you a champion. Every challenge makes you a champion. And champions are born out of challenges. So all turbulences around us make us better swimmers. All right. So, and you will realize, you will come to a point when you learn to let go through your breath, when you learn to let go in your bath, when you're taking water only, when you learn to let go when you're basking in the sun, when you learn to let go when there is wind touching you and air, you allow the air to make you lighter, take away the burden of your pain. So when you mingle with the nature, when you mingle with yourself, when you self-actualize all the processes, trust me, you will elevate to a level where you will be independent of glory and criticism, where you will be independent of pain and pleasure, where you will be independent of good, bad, and ugly, and you will grow as a human being. So, I mean, every misfortune in people's lives does come, and it's not about whether you deserved it or not. It's about in the orbit of life, you happen to be there while the storm was about to happen. You understand? So there is collective destiny as well. So there are so many people who would have a lovely longevity line, but if you see them, they would board a plane and die in a crash. So what happens is collective destiny overrides everything. So smelling of flowers, smelling of fruits, and eating as many fruits, you will realize your emotions will begin to change. Because eating fruits, vegetables, in Sanskrit, it is called giving you sattva gun, righteousness. They influence your thoughts, your behavior. They influence your attitude. They influence your heart's feelings, your emotions. They can make you creative. They can make you productive. They can otherwise make you aggressive. They can make you violent. It depends what you consume. Not just through food, but everything that you consume on television, radio, and your iPods, and your TV opera soaps, and your movies and OTT, and the people you are around, everything that you're consuming. So I simply tell people, watch what you put inside yourself. And when it comes to food, I said, watch what you put in your mouth.
Great. Thanks, Doctor.
Thank you so
Nicola, I
much.
hope. Yeah. Aditi, this time we won't stop you.
Yeah.
No, so actually, sir, you're a big advocate of vegetarian eating and vegetarianism. Even when I interviewed you, I remember, you telling me about how you converted from non-veg to veg. And just taking on from what you just discussed, I mean, I recently have, tried to like cut down on eating non-veg to a large extent, but I'm also working out. I think that this was a question which was even there in the chat box. Is it possible to get like enough protein through your vegetarian sources? That's like one question. The second question that I had was that, you're largely a self-taught person, like a successful self-taught entrepreneur. So a lot of us have, studied one subject in school and college, and we want to branch out into something else, which is our passion. But we lack the confidence of really being good enough in that field. Like, we don't know how to really like update our, our skills or our education in that field. So can you throw light on how to like gain that much of confidence and going ahead and like really like maybe just reinventing ourselves with self teaching or something like that, self learning?
So I would tell you one thing, that as a professional, if you're doing something to make it your career, that okay, and then you are evaluating that this career is lucrative and I want to earn more money about it, you will probably never be successful. Success comes to those where what you are doing has been there, a part of your bone marrow blood, and you've enjoyed and celebrated doing it. You've done it for 16, 18 hours a day. You've never seen the clock, or you've never used math to see how well you were compensated. You know, my first personal training in 1982, I trained Suresh Oberoi. And 300 rupees is what I got as personal training fees. Only to realize at the end of the month, my petrol bill was a little more than that of my bike. So I used to fill 12 rupees of petrol every day to train him. And what I got paid was 300 as opposed to 12, 360. This is what you should be. Now, that is not being stupid. That is being really heartful, soulful about what you enjoy doing. And when you enjoy doing that, it will keep growing in you. That will become a part of you. And you will be the master of it. Constantly wanting to invent oneself to be ahead in the race will never get you there. But wanting to evolve and wanting your quest to learn will make you rise. Remember one thing, the sky is large enough to accommodate as many stars and as much they have light within them to shine. So you work on your own lights, you work on your own elevation, you work on your own evolution, and you enjoy your growth process. Your learning is not learning to give an exam. I have given very few exams. I mean, even the double doctorate I got conferred upon was after marathon interviews of 8 hours, 12 hours. And it's all about people knowing the depths of the wisdom and the modern science, the ancient wisdom, the philosophy married to spirituality, and all integrated together is what Mehta is about. So of course, I've been a perfect Ekalavya to very many Dronacharyas for distance learning. So Osho has been, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, they've been my influencers. Osho, Deepak Chopra, they've been my influencers. Currently I'm still learning from Baba Ramdev, Sadhguru, Ma Hansaji of the Yoga Institute, B.K. Sayangarji, Dr. Ali Rani. Now, these are some great personalities and great mentors, and most of them are my friends too. And I still learn from them, I still respect them and regard them. So it is an absolutely a constant process. Today, learning has become very easy because whenever I read articles, I watch television, I normally watch a lot of history, discovery science, natural geography. I use those educational channels a lot for self-growth. And of course, a lot of YouTube searching, researching, and learning. I am completely mesmerized by modern science as much I'm completely in awe of ancient wisdom. I typically try and marry them both to understand that yes, 10,000 years people said that, and 20 years back it got validated by science. This faculty of science or that faculty of science. So there are so many scientists who've done a lot of work on consciousness. So Dr. Roger Penrose, Dr. Dean Ornish, they've done a lot of work on consciousness and they've validated a lot of spiritual, I would say, phenomena. Okay. And there are so many sciences, like there's a science called neuroplasticity. That science validates a lot of theories of yoga and Ayurveda. that you can change your genetic expression, because your growth order is flexible and not pre-programmed. And as much, pre-programmed is only 5% and 95% is indeterministic. So your conscious thought, your conscious behavior, your conscious attitude will change, will seed you now. So destiny, the game is everything that you move, everything that you strategize, and whatever is the outcome of that game. The word destiny is very lame.
So we've got a lot of questions, Dr. Mehta, and I'm going to
and
throw
we
them.
have 5 minutes. And we have 5 minutes.
Yes. So actually, can you, if you could answer in one line, can I learn yoga on YouTube? How do I start learning yoga?
First, sit quietly for 30 minutes every day for 7 days. Once you learn to sit quietly with yourself, simply allowing and watching yourself breathe, enjoying your own company because you've known the world, you've not known yourself. So sitting quietly will make you introduce you to yourself, which is the most interesting person in this world. Once you learn to be patient with yourself, once you learn to be boring, interesting and not boring with yourself, then the next step is you can get into learning.
So on YouTube, would YouTube work?
Fine. It's fine if you go with basic learners programs. But while you do that, I would suggest you still speak to some trainer here and there. Do take some supervision. But if you're doing absolutely grassroots, small A, small B, should be fine.
Okay. Can you talk about the correlation between working out and mental health, very scientifically, if possible?
Certainly. So I'll tell you, day to day, I mean, we are supposed to be taking 21,600 breaths every day in 24 hours. Right?
Okay.
Now, most of the breaths we take when we work out or when we are super active, because the body needs oxygen. Now, each time you breathe in consciously, in, out while you're working out, your heart pumps blood, your lungs process oxygen, and more oxygen reaches out to your entire body, organ cells, and your brain functions are heightened. So creativity, creative thoughts come to you when you work out. Productive ideas come to you when you work out. Now, if the mind is knotted in emotions and pain and hurt and resentments and grudges, when you work out, when you breathe and you circulate, you literally dissolve it. Because when you're doing nothing, your blood supply, your blood circulation is stagnated. Pain, hurt constricts you. Workout expands you, opens you up. Blood circulation, carrying nutrients to the cell, carrying oxygen to your brain and body, revs you up.
Got it.
And that is the time the influence of pain, hurt on the mind is dissolved. That is the time the impression and enthusiasm of creativity is heightened. And that is the time the energy to be productive is also augmented.
So in short, working out enhances your ability to work. Yeah.
And this is much more, much.
Okay. What keeps you going at this age? Why do you work out? This is not my question. This is come.
At this age means
why do you? That's what I said. That's why I clarified. It's not my question.
No,
what keeps you going? And at this age, why do you work out?
So I like to sleep very well. And if you want to sleep well, you better work hard in the day. So most of the sleeping medicines are taken by rich people in the world because most of them don't work hard. You ask a laborer who works every day in the sun, you ask a Kamwali bhai that do you ever have a sleeping problem? They'll say no, because they all work hard. So that's number one. So to get good night's sleep, I have to earn it. So I work out. And that's my inspiration. Also, during the time I work out, I write, I make my messages, I do many creative things, I answer my phones. And during my workout, I am on an all-time high. So it is like me romancing myself. I mean, a workout in a way could become very orgasmic if you really delve a deep dive into all your convolutions, your stretches, your contractions, and you do your handstands, you pull-ups, you do parallel bars, and you do yoga, and you spot jog, and push-ups and desi dance, and it is superb. And you breathe, and I innovate workouts. I create a lot of workouts. So in my almost 15 years of running gyms, studios, the best compliments I've ever got from my clients is workout at your centers are the best. We've never seen them before. So they have
Workout at
always,
your centers.
as my center, yeah, because they're always very creative, very innovative, enjoyable. Although it will occur to you that I may have seen this workout before, but the sequencing of it, flow of it, it's all fun. But yes, there are many workouts. I know probably that I'm the first one on the earth to have introduced to mankind. But I mean, 15
Great.
years back, social media was not so heavy, so probably I did not go gungo about it.
So this is from Vinny Perumana. Dr. Mehta, truly an inspiring living example of achieving anything by strong willpower. Thank you for your deep insights. That's a compliment to you, in case you didn't notice. And now the next question is, do you offer a one-to-one coaching? How does he reach out to you?
So you have to be at the other end of the spectrum in life, having worked very hard, become super successful to afford me for one-to-one. So that's very important. That's very critical because so my value is of not my time, but my value is of the wisdom and the knowledge and the experience which I still earn and collect every day.
Okay,
So
so
that's the
presuming he is not paying you $60 for that massage, how does he reach you? And I'm sure he knows who you are, so he's probably got the pocket size.
So no, so we have layers. We have layers of trainers and consultants. So I have a core team of 12 people, and then I have lot many associates. So may it be Ayurveda doctors, may it be homeopathy doctors, may it be physiotherapists. So I work with teams. So
Okay.
I take a project and I oversee it, and 99% people come to me where they failed with the market and they've tried everything in the market because they know they've heard that they'll probably succeed only with me. I mean, just for example's sake, that that first 34 kilos which Anil Ambani lost was with me in a year. And
Okay.
then I've trained very many chairmen of banks, CEOs of banks. I've trained most billionaires of India, some of the top film stars, some of the top models. So wherever there are challenging objectives. So nowadays people come to me for spiritual objectives, mind potential objectives. I handle drug abuse a lot, suicidal cases a lot,
Oh,
weaning of people from psychiatric medicine. And we work with senior citizens where people at 85 who can barely sit, maybe in a couple of years, we make them walk 2-3 kilometers a day. So that's the kind of work we do. We work with cancer patients where doctors have written people off and said no more than 3 months. We work with teams, and yeah, certain oncologists are very cooperative. We work with them, and now they've lived for 13, 14 years. We work with paralytical people, who are in wheelchairs, and we've got improved their paralysis by 50, 60, 70%. So this is the kind of work that I've done. Of course, my work involves a lot of Ayurveda, homeopathy, physiotherapy. I use modern medicine, I use ancient wisdom, and it is extremely customized to constitutional needs, personality and characteristics of the person, environment of the person. So it's not that one size fits all. One herb, maybe there are general herbs good for immunity, but the combination of herbs to be given when, in what ratio, proportion is very important. Panchakarma of Ayurveda is so powerful that we work with so many people on their deathbed, and they've been living now for 4 years, 7 years, and 8 years, and 2-3 patients for even 13 years. Literal deathbed. It's all divine grace because miracles do happen only with the will of the ultimate, I would say, ultimate destiny
the power,
provider, creator,
the supreme.
ultimate force, supreme power, and intervention. And I
Okay,
always
so
seek that intervention for my people, for my family, for people who work with me, and for people who I serve. I seek that intervention and I always get it.
God bless, God bless. So I'm going to push you a bit beyond the time. There's a couple of questions more with your permission. So there is one from a Bawa, and he happens to be my ex-student Zal Kasina. Sir, what about non-veg food? I am a Bawa. So I don't know what his question is, but he says, sir, what about non-veg food? I am a Bawa.
So now Bawa's genetics are programmed that till, you know, a chicken tandoori doesn't go inside, or a kebab doesn't go inside, or big bone pieces don't go inside, I mean, their day is not made. Or huge fish portions. Now, and of course, dozens of eggs a day. And I know people who eat 4 eggs for breakfast, 4 for lunch, and 4 for dinner, alongside a normal dinner, alongside. And then in the afternoon, they have khari biscuits, they have their pancakes, you know, so all those things.
Khate pite ghar ke.
Khate pite, my God, that's an understatement. So, Babas certainly are food lovers, and so are Catholics, so are Punjabis, but Babas and Catholics, I mean, much more. So, yes, only if you could balance off. So, let's say, don't jeopardize your mornings. If you really screwed up lunch, dinner, if you're doing that, at least add salad to both your meals. That will save you. At least have loads of fruits from morning to afternoon. That will save you. At least have lots of herbal teas, at least 3 a day minimum. That will save you. And try and sleep early. That will save you. Even if you're having the most nonsensical meal, but have it by 7 o'clock, so that when you sleep at 11, it's 4 hours digestion done. That will save you. Breathe a lot, work out a lot, take a lot of sunshine, and of course, be extremely confident about your wellness and healing. Heal yourself with the mind as much as possible.
Okay, so I'll take 2 more questions. Which vegan food revolution become popular? I think it means, will vegan food revolution become popular? Dr. Mickey, which side of the debate do you stand on in terms of food preferences? So are you recommending vegan, and will it become more popular than it already is?
So the cleanest eating is veganism. Cleanest. Okay. So there is a very big organization called Sharan. So, and I support them. Although I'm not a complete vegan, but I'm very much controlled there. But the compulsions of life and certain choices and moderation are in my attitude. So keeps me a promoter of vegetarianism. And I would say, should people eat meat? It's not sinful, but moderate yourself with loads of salads with meat. So with meat, try and avoid your breads. Okay? With meat, add loads of salads once again. And bring in a lot of alkaline fruit, especially pomegranate, muskmelon, honeydew melon, watermelon, your super sweet limes, your sweet oranges, your grapes, your figs, sitafalas, mangoes, bananas. So all seasonal fruits, papayas, your dates. Eat a lot of nuts for snacking. So, you know, your sesame seed laddus, your walnuts, your groundnut chickis, your Rajgira chickis. India is blessed with nutrition. West is not blessed with nutrition. In East, in India, we knew every herb, every condiment, every seed, every nut. We know how to exploit the best value out of it. Our recipes are world renowned. Our thalis are world renowned. And the understanding of the thali is all the 6, 7 tastes of Ayurveda are fulfilled. So sweet, sour, salty, spicy, astringent, pungent, and bitter. When these 7 tastes come together in a thali, you have complete nutrition in your stomach and brain. So Vedic understanding of food is far more superior to any other system in the world. I mean, the entire Europe and the West, they've grown on bread, loaves of bread. You understand? And we've grown on grains. We've grown on bhakris, jawar, bajra. So these millets, they become a foundation of your constitution. Your brown rice, your moong dal, our rajmas, our safed chana, kala chanas, you know, they are so potentially good. I mean, most of the Westerners wouldn't have ever seen a kala chana or udid dal. Udid dal is supposed to be the mother of protein. So all the Kalari Payatu experts consume a lot of udid dal. If you see the South Indian, udid dal and rice is staple. So a protein can only be digested in the presence of a complex carbohydrate. So going off carbs is extremely stupid. So even just now in 3 weeks, I gave up my rice. I made sure I had my sweet potato, I had my potato, I had my beetroots, I had all the rich fruits, and of course mangoes. I probably have 6 a day. So there you
Great.
are.
So I'm going to throw a question. I said
I'll catch it.
two questions. No. So Kaushal, would you like to ask a question, because she's been
Kaushal, dear,
on standby.
please.
My question is a little different, from what everybody has been asking you. Like in this pandemic, all the businesses have been affected. So, has your business been affected in any way? Or, it has kept you more on your toes, because there is so much of stress.
I have a very good answer. Most of my fancy cars and fancy watches are gone. But see, listen. I enjoyed them a lot when I could buy them and afford them. And when they had to go, it was perfectly fine, because I know this life, it will come back.
Mickey, Dr. Mickey, are you actually saying you've given away a few of your cars because of the stress, the pandemic?
100%.
Oh my God, I'm
100%.
I'm so happy that you were speaking so frankly. So if you could tell us a bit more about that.
So I'll tell you who I sold my cars to.
No, I'll tell you. Although everyone's laughing and finding it amusing, see this time there are a lot of people who have taken hits. And if somebody as inspirational as you could give a message for those people.
Okay, so let me tell you. So in these last 18 months of this lockdown, actually we got affected. We got affected from January, not from March when the lockdown happened. Because when the pandemic wave and fear and anxiety was in the air, people stopped coming to the gym, they stopped renewing. We also lost a lot of business in demon. Okay.
In
demonetizing in India.
Demon, correct. Yes,
movement.
Demon.
So it's been almost 4 years that we've got a big hit. And we had 10 to 15, I think 15 gyms running. Already had partners, sucking blood out of us, earning money and not paying us as a brand. And we would be still supporting many of the costs. And yes, so what happened in the lockdown, that there were some landlords to whom we had to continue paying X percentage of rent. I had to take care of, good amount of 80 to 100 people without any revenue. Some people 60%, some people 40%, but lower rung, full salaries. So obviously we got drained, got into debts, but this is a part of life. And in business, you learn how to juggle, you learn how to manage. And yes, had I been a very prudent businessman till date, had I been a very tight and a prudent and a cutthroat businessman till date, I would have been today worth maybe 500 to 1,000 crores. But I'm a little different. I maintained salaries of so very many people across my 12, 15 gyms, even when there were no revenues, because my thing is, where would they go? How would they support their families? They all come from humble and simple homes. And I always thought that a day in my life would come when I would be able to sell off my entire business and walk out clean surplus. Although that didn't happen completely, but it happened in a way when I got into partnership with a huge brand of fitness, got some relief, but then again got into problems because they had their own set of problems at their sides. So that also added a lot. And yes, I still earn a lot, but the bleed is there because the drain is there, and I'm enjoying it. I'm extremely confident that I'll probably hit a bouncing board and I'll be out in the gym. And I believe in
Fantastic,
miracles.
fantastic,
Believe in miracles, you know.
fantastic.
Hats off, doctor.
Salute. So I've
Seriously.
just,
It's
I've
such
got
a
one
matter of fact he just stated.
Yeah.
How
Brilliant
he
question,
cares of-
Kaushal. Thank you for that. And we've got Hitesh, who's also a business owner. In fact, he owns B Bhagat Tarachan, which you'll know as a very good
You know,
veg
I eat there
restaurant.
so regularly at Bhagat Tarajan.
So the owner is on the line, Hitesh. Hitesh, would you say hello? He was vaccinated today, so
Hitesh,
he's.
come on the camera, man.
I think he's decided. He normally is always vocal, but he's. So
You
B Bhagat
know,
Tarachan. Yeah.
the dal fry at Bhagat Tarachan and the chapatis and their veg pulao and their chas. It is to die for.
And there, you're talking
Thank
about
you, sir.
diet and you're
Thanks.
saying,
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Only the dal roti is to die for. Only the dal roti. There's so much of ghee they put with fried onions and garlic.
So you're most
And
welcome.
it is amazing.
Most welcome.
Wow. So this is really a flip side of Dr. Mickey Mehta, where he talks about, moderate this, moderate that, and he's showing off over the dal fry that he eats, which has a lot of ghee in it. Hitesh, do you have any question for sir?
No questions. He's answered everything, I guess.
So Hitesh, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Whenever the lockdown eases out, we will work out a gourmet vegetarian menu which goes in line with your thought of food and also which is healthy. We'll try with some dishes, we'll try with some cuisines, and maybe that could become a bigger draw and one more novelty for people to come there.
Sure, sir. Sure. Absolutely.
Great idea. Really
Without
great idea.
disturbing your ethnicity and your customary food, we'll just create something new and step by step, a more better offering. We need to reinvent and innovate.
Love to do that, sir. We would love to do that.
I think you should, because
Andy and I will come to sample it. Andy, should we go sample it?
Definitely.
Let's go to that.
So Aditi, by the way, my family is a strict non-veg family. My daughters turn veg, but of late we've been ending up at B Bhagat Tarachan to eat quite a bit. So
Really?
Andy's always there. And now, Mickey, what I would also suggest in a lighter vein, whenever I go there, I see, they are in the middle of the gold hub, and they have all these Guju, Marwadi, walking heart attacks who come there and eat. Yeah. So maybe your idea of a diet-centric menu would also help them.
Naturally.
Yeah. Okay, so on this note, I'd like to bring this session to an end by asking Dr. Mickey to give us a parting shot of words, like just one set of.
Parting words sounds good, but parting shot doesn't sound good. So my parting words, and now this becomes boring for very many people to hear them. So I have 10 commandments of wellness, which I always express myself in different ways each time. So the first commandment of wellness is that let wellness be the religion number one. Because religions divide and wellness unites. Wellness integrates you, wellness consolidates you, wellness composes you, wellness cleanses you of impurities, and wellness makes you vibrant and radiant. So this makes you a better devout Christian, Hindu, Muslim. So your sincerity and devotion rises thereafter. Join Wellness Revolution for Human Evolution. Don't work for weight loss and shaping of the body. That should be a part of it. But how to evolve as a mind, how to evolve as a spirit, and how to evolve and transform as a body should be your objective. So join my Wellness Revolution for Human Evolution. Then I would say the best exercise for bicep is to uplift the poor. The best exercise for the shoulders is to take responsibilities of the underprivileged. The best exercise for legs is to be rooted in humility, to be better rooted in humanity. Sleep every night with a wish to heal yourself. Wake up every morning with a promise to heal the world. And then, of course, you can get energized, maximized, optimized, naturalized, internalized, eternalized, revolutionized, evolutionized, specialized, into wellness initialized. With wellness, get revitalized, get regularized. With wellness, get everybody mesmerized, hypnotized, all negativity neutralized to get Mickeymized.
Get Mickeymized. Thank you very much, Dr. Mickey Mehta. And so nice of you to be on the show. Apologies to all those who we could not take your questions and answer them. But thank you for being with us. God bless. Keep rocking and roaring. get Mickeymized.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Dominic.
much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much,
Thank
ladies.
you.
Thank you. Nicola, I'm
Thank
so
you,
happy
Mickey.
that you came in and you spoke and we could get a chance of a dialogue. I will
Thank
see you soon at your home in Malan.
Super.
Thank you,
God
everybody.
bless.
Thank you.
God bless.
Bye,
God
bye, bye,
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Mickey.
you.
bye,
Thank you. Thank you,
bye.
Andrea. Thank you, Andrea, for
Thank
getting
you,
Dominic to
Mickey.
do this one. See you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Bye,
you, Mickey.
bye.